They always looked for stories but never thought they would become one.
We want freedom! We want freedom!
According to the figures compiled by the Journalists Associations, over 400 journalists have lost their jobs in Pakistan during the last 6 months. Khalid Jamil is one of them. He was until recently working as the bureau chief of one of the country's leading private news channel, Aaj TV. He was sacked for objecting to the large-scale downsizing by his organization.
I was in the Supreme Court when I came to know that a cameraman called me and that he was saying that he was fired by the management and director and that GMH are sitting in the office and they are giving termination letters to the people and asking them either you have two options, either to resign or have to face termination.
And it is not only Aaj TV but almost all other news channels have sent home their employees in the name of right-sizing. This man has twice lost his job in last 6 months.
There's lots of unprofessionalism going on in our media, in TV channels, in newspapers as well. I'm talking about the majority. I had a very bitter experience at the Dawn News television channel. At Dawn News, conditions are created for you that you are left with no option but to leave.
Afzal Butt is the president of the National Press Club. His organization works to protect the interests of journalists. He says the last few months have been the most unfortunate for the working journalists of Pakistan.
ये पाकिस्तान में सहाफत के लिहाज से बड़ा बदकिस्मत साल ये है.
Journalists in Pakistan perhaps have gone through the toughest time ever during the last few months. Not only have they suffered casualties, but also hundreds of them became jobless.
The electronic media in Pakistan has seen unprecedented growth in the last few years and provided job opportunities to thousands of young journalists. But due to economic recession, the news channels are now finding it difficult to sustain their operations. Analysts believe this may be one of the factors behind the downsizing of Pakistan's news organizations.
जब कुछ लोगों को निकाला गया,
Economic recession might be one of the reasons, but the fact of the matter is that there are no laws that can ensure the job security of journalists working with the electronic media.
चैनल के लोगों की अपील की.
According to Pakistan Electronic Media Regulatory Authority, a state-owned body to regulate private news channels in the country, at present there are over 24 24/7 news and current affairs channels in the country. Private news channels in Pakistan have been playing a pivotal role in shaping the public opinion on major national and international issues. Experts say the media were instrumental in the restoration of the country's Chief Justice and the resignation of former President Pervez Musharraf. However, the same media outlets are silent over the sacking of journalists. Kamran Rahmat is the editor of Islamabad Dateline newspaper. And he says it is ironic that the journalists who are capable of rocking and shaping government structures can't fight for their own rights. I asked him, when journalists are sacked in such great numbers, shouldn't this be a major story?
It's probably got to be the biggest story where the fate of those employees is concerned, because you see, it's not just about them getting offloaded. It's about their life, it's about their families, it's about their children. But sadly, news organizations themselves couldn't care less, or so it seems.
On the other hand, those journalists who have survived the downsizing have not been given any pay raise for the last 2 years, which further compounded their miseries. The journalism is considered the most challenging profession in Pakistan. The International Federation of Journalists declared Pakistan as one of the most dangerous places in 2010 for media workers. According to Pakistan Federal Union of Journalists, 15 media workers were killed in the line of duty last year alone in the country. Just behind me is the head office of Pakistan's leading private news channel, which also laid off hundreds of employees in recent months. Despite our repeated attempts, no one from the management was willing to speak on the subject. Kamran Yusuf, Press TV, Islamabad.